Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, make sure to hit subscribe so you never miss the new stories we share. Let's begin. The rain had just stopped falling over downtown Denver when I pulled into the parking lot of Morrison's Grocery on Colfax Avenue. It was nearly 10 at night. The store was about to close. I needed nothing more than a bottle of water and maybe some aspirin. The board meeting had run long and my head was pounding. I was tired, the kind of tired that settles into your bones after 18-hour days stacked on top of each other like bricks building a wall between you and everything else. I stepped out of my Mercedes. The autumn air bit at my face and I pulled my coat tighter as I walked toward the entrance. That's when I saw her, a woman sitting against the brick wall of the grocery store, a thin blanket wrapped around her shoulders. A small child, maybe 5 or 6 years old, curled against her chest. Sleeping, the fluorescent glow from the store's sign cast a pale light across her face. And something inside me stopped. My feet stopped. My breath stopped. My heart, for just a moment, seemed to stop, too. I didn't know why. She was just a homeless woman, one of thousands I'd passed in my 43 years of living, one of hundreds I'd walked by in this city alone, but something about her face, something about the way she held that child, something in the quiet desperation of her posture. It pulled at me. She looked up. Our eyes met. Hers were hollow, exhausted, the kind of empty that comes from crying until there's nothing left. She looked away quickly, pulling her child closer as if protecting him from my gaze. I stood there like a fool. My driver, Raymond, called out from the car. "Mr. Holloway, everything all right?" I couldn't answer, because something in my mind was reaching back, way back. Through decades of climbing corporate ladders, building empires, becoming the man whose name now sat on buildings and business magazines. Something was reaching back to a time when I was small, when I was scared, when I was the one who needed protecting. I walked into the store, bought my water, paid without speaking. But when I came back out, I couldn't help but look at her again. She was singing now, softly, a lullaby to the child in her arms. The melody hit me like a freight train. I knew that song. I knew it because someone had sung it to me once. On a night when I thought my life was going to end. On a night when I was 7 years old, hiding in a closet, listening to my father's drunken rage shatter everything in our apartment. Someone had found me. Someone had held me. Someone had sung that exact melody until I stopped shaking. I got into my car, but I couldn't drive away. "Raymond," I said, my voice barely a whisper, "go home. I'll call you when I need you." "Sir, please just go." He hesitated, then pulled away. I sat in that parking lot until morning, watching her, trying desperately to remember. That night I couldn't sleep. I lay in my penthouse apartment overlooking the city, staring at the ceiling, and the memories came flooding back like water through a broken dam. My name is Marcus Holloway. I'm the CEO of Holloway Industries, a company worth over $2 billion. I've been on the cover of Forbes. I've shaken hands with senators. I've built something from nothing. But before all of that, I was just a broken boy from a broken home on the east side of Columbus, Ohio. My father was a violent drunk. My mother left when I was 4, and every night when my father came home from the bar, I learned to hide. The closet in my bedroom became my sanctuary. I would press myself into the corner, behind the winter coats that smelled like mothballs and fear, and I would pray that he wouldn't find me. But one night he did. I was 7 years old. He dragged me out by my ankles, screaming about money, about bills, about how I was nothing but a burden. His breath was whiskey and hatred. I thought he was going to kill me, and then she appeared. Mrs. Patricia Dalton, the woman who lived next door, a widow in her early 40s who kept to herself, who had a garden full of roses and a quiet sadness behind her eyes. She must have heard my screams through the thin walls. She burst through our front door like an angel wrapped in fury. I still remember the way she stood there, barely 5'3", facing my father who towered over her by nearly a foot. "You touch that boy again," she said, her voice trembling but fierce, "and I will make sure you never see the outside of a prison cell." My father laughed, called her names I won't repeat, but she didn't back down. She grabbed me, wrapped me in her arms, carried me out of that apartment while my father hurled bottles at the wall behind us. She took me to her home, made me hot chocolate, and while I sat there shaking, covered in bruises, she sang me a lullaby, that lullaby, the same one I heard tonight. I sat up in bed, my heart pounding. It was her. It had to be her. Mrs. Dalton had saved my life that night. She called the police. She testified against my father. Because of her, I was placed in foster care. Because of her, I had a chance. I never saw her again. The system moved me around, different homes, different cities. Eventually, I put myself through college and built an empire, but I never forgot her. And now, 36 years later, she was sleeping on concrete, holding a child the same way she once held me. I grabbed my phone. "Raymond, 6 a.m., we're going back." The morning was cold and gray when Raymond pulled up to Morrison's Grocery. I had barely slept. My mind had been racing all night, turning over memories I had buried for decades. She was still there. Same spot. Same thin blanket. The child was awake now, a little boy with messy brown hair and eyes too old for his age. He was eating a granola bar, breaking off small pieces and chewing slowly, making it last. I told Raymond to wait. I got out of the car and walked toward her. Each step felt heavier than the last. What would I say? Would she even remember me? I was just a scared little boy the last time she saw me. Now I was a man in a tailored suit with gray at my temples and 30 years of walls built around my heart. She looked up as I approached. Suspicion flickered across her face. She pulled the boy closer. "I don't want any trouble," she said. Her voice was different now, rougher, worn down by years of hardship. "I'm not here to cause trouble," I said softly. I crouched down so I was at her eye level. "I just have a question." She stared at me with guarded eyes. "What kind of question?" I took a breath. "Did you used to live in Columbus, Ohio, on Maple Street, in the apartment building across from Riverside Park?" Her expression shifted. A crack appeared in the wall she had built around herself. "How do you know that?" she whispered. "Because I lived there too," I said. "Apartment 4B with a man named David Holloway." Her face went pale. "I was 7 years old," I continued, my voice breaking despite my best efforts. "And one night when he was hurting me, you came, you saved me. You took me to your apartment and made me hot chocolate and you sang me a song." Tears were forming in her eyes now. "You told me everything was going to be okay," I said, and for the first time in my life I believed it. She shook her head slowly, trying to reconcile the broken boy from her memory with the man kneeling before her. "Marcus," she breathed. "Little Marcus." I nodded, and my own tears fell. She reached out with a trembling hand and touched my face. "Oh my God, I never knew what happened to you. They took you away and I tried to find out, but they wouldn't tell me anything." The little boy tugged at her sleeve. "Grandma, who is this man?" She wiped her eyes and forced a smile. "This is an old friend, Tommy, a very old friend." I looked at her, the woman who had changed my entire life with one act of courage, and I asked the question that had been burning in my chest all night. "What happened to you?" She didn't answer right away. Instead, she looked out across the parking lot at the cars coming and going, at the people who passed by without a second glance. "Life happened," she said finally. "The kind of life that takes everything from you piece by piece until there's nothing left." I sat down on the cold concrete beside her, my expensive suit be damned, and I listened. "After you left," she began, "I stayed in that apartment for another 10 years. I kept hoping they'd bring you back. I thought maybe I could adopt you, take care of you properly. But they said I wasn't qualified, a widow on a fixed income, no chance." She shook her head. "I never stopped thinking about you, though, never stopped wondering if you were okay." "I wasn't," I admitted. "Not for a long time, but I survived because of you." She smiled sadly. "I'm glad, that's all I ever wanted. But what happened to you?" I pressed gently. Tommy had fallen asleep against her shoulder, his small body exhausted from another night on concrete. "I got remarried," she said. "A few years after you left, a man named Robert. He was good to me. We moved to Denver. He had a job here. We were happy." She paused. The weight of the past seemed to press down on her shoulders. Had a daughter, Sarah, the light of my life. Her voice cracked. She grew up, got married herself, had Tommy. She stroked the boy's hair with heartbreaking tenderness. "Then Robert got sick, cancer. We spent everything on his treatment, but it wasn't enough. He died 4 years ago." "I'm so sorry," I whispered. "That was just the beginning," she said. "Sarah's husband left her after Robert died, just up and left. She couldn't handle the grief. She started using drugs, trying to numb the pain." She wiped her eyes roughly. "I tried to help her. I really did, but I was drowning in medical debt, lost the house, lost everything. We moved into a small apartment together, Sarah and Tommy and me, and I thought maybe we could rebuild." Her voice broke completely. "6 months ago, Sarah overdosed. I found her in the bathroom. Tommy was crying in his bedroom. He still doesn't understand where his mama went." My chest felt like it was caving in. "I couldn't keep the apartment after that," she said. "No income, no savings, no family left, just me and this little boy who doesn't deserve any of this." She looked at me with those hollow eyes. "So here I am, the woman who once saved a little boy, now I can't even save myself." I looked at Tommy, sleeping peacefully despite everything. Then I looked at Patricia Dalton, my guardian angel, and I made a decision that would change all of our lives. "You're not sleeping out here another night," I said. She shook her head. "Marcus, I can't accept—" "Patricia," I interrupted gently. "You walked into hell for me when I was 7 years old. You faced down a monster to save a boy who wasn't even yours. You gave me a chance at life." I took her hands in mine. They were cold, calloused, so different from the soft hands that once made me hot chocolate. "Let me return the favor, please." She looked at me for a long moment, pride warred with desperation in her eyes. "I don't want charity," she said quietly. "I've never wanted that." "It's not charity," I said. "It's family." The word hung between us, family. I had never used that word lightly. I had built walls around my heart for decades, convinced that family meant pain, meant betrayal, meant broken bottles and bruised skin. But this woman had shown me that family could also mean protection, sacrifice, love. She started to cry, not silent tears, deep, shuddering sobs that shook her entire body. Tommy woke up, confused and scared. "Grandma, what's wrong?" I knelt down to his level. "Hey, buddy, your grandma's okay. She's just really happy. Sometimes when grown-ups are really happy, they cry. Does that make sense?" He thought about it. "Kind of." I smiled. "Good, how about we get you some breakfast, real pancakes?" His eyes went wide. "Pancakes? As many as you can eat." Patricia grabbed my arm. "Marcus, I don't know how to thank you." "You don't have to," I said. "You already did 36 years ago." That morning, I took them to my penthouse. I gave them the guest room overlooking the mountains. I ordered enough food to feed an army. Over the following weeks, I helped Patricia rebuild her life, an apartment of her own, a job at my company's charitable foundation, healthcare, counseling for Tommy. But more than that, I gave myself something I never thought I'd have: a family. We have dinner together every Sunday now. Patricia makes pot roast. Tommy tells me about school, about books he's reading, about friends he's making. And sometimes, late at night when I'm tucking him into bed, I hear Patricia singing that lullaby in the next room. The same song that saved me once. The same song that brought us back together. I used to think success meant buildings with your name on them, money in the bank, power, but I was wrong. Success is love, pure and simple. That's how a homeless mom beside a grocery store changed my life twice. Thanks for watching. Subscribe and visit the channel for more real-life stories.